We are live, yes? Yes, we are. Okay. We are live, and I'm streaming on the Discord. Alright, we are starting. If anyone knows RyoGin or Koht, you should give them shit for only doing a best of three. But these are one of our GM players, so it is low-key expected. They are wusses who want to minimize the amount of information available to them. Fucking sweaty tryhards. Okay, in the bottom left, of tourmaline for game number one. In the blue, we have RyoGin. And in the top right, in the pink, have Koht. Looks like we have 12 pool to start off the ZVZ from Koht. Just gonna try and catch RyoGin with his pants down, with their pants down. So we'll see how strong the 12 pool defense is. Getting a gas, so it's probably not gonna be a drone pull. Are we gonna make any things? No, we're just gonna. Oh, proxy hatch. Ayo. We going for the Avery Top Cheese Award? Roach Warren. Okay. 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 I'm sniffing what you're shitting, Coat. I don't know what RyoGin is going to think when he sees this. Okay. In some of my previous casts, I've said I don't know anything about ZVC, but I've been casting a lot of ZVC recently, because no one else will. And so I feel like my theoretical knowledge has been like my mind has expanded. I've become enlightened in some of the ways of ZVZ. And just a burrow rush. That's so sick. In most cases, people just make roaches because of their armor and their high damage output attack that ignores armor. Using them for their burrow capabilities, yeah, there's a lot more to the roach than having armor. They have the burrow. While they're burrowed, they heal faster, and they have the ability to move while burrowed if they get that research. I don't think we're going to see that this game. I don't think we need, because we need layer attack for it. Now, Ryojin thinks this is a link flood of sorts. He's getting spines behind the mineral line, but he will move them down to the low ground. A couple of links going for a counter attack here, gonna get fucked up by the roach. Alright, first couple of roaches showing up. Burrow is not yet done, so we gotta be careful not to lose any of these roaches before we get the faster healing. These two roaches are very low. Gotta keep them back. Is Ryojin gonna notice the burrow? Not using it yet. In fact, he's just gonna send his lings all across the map. Gonna try and catch reinforcements, get some counter damage done. Ling spying queen. We just sort of have the numbers to overwhelm this. The burrows are tight, but we're only gonna have that advantage for a short time until the spore pops. To be honest, I don't think Ryojin gave a single fuck about this. And now Koht is dead. Yeah. Uh, we'll see if we'll get a bit of a longer game this next one. I'm not that optimistic at the prospect of that. Ryojin, I think, is a bit of a macro beast, from what I've seen. We played a couple of games the other day, and all of them went late game. He's the sort of guy who understands that the best way to win as Terran versus Protoss is just to never attack. So, best way to win against Zerg, too, to be honest. I think Maru has proven that. And so I expect he will be the defender for this series going forward. Koht realizes that that did absolutely nothing last time and will be going for a more conventional macro opener. Drones. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Quad watchers, you can double time speed right now for a little bit.
Game.
Making some queens. RyoGin is making a few probing lings. Koht is not, so he's gonna drone just a smidge harder. Put on him. Both players going link speed. I've always found this to be a strange choice. It's not common, but it's not uncommon either. Zerg players who will make a third hatch, but just will keep it in their natural. Now, I've been wrong before about questionable Zerg building placement. However, is it not better just to put it here? Just have it ready to mine just in case. I get the extra larva production is nice, but you can have the extra larva production and also have the potential to mine from it later. I suppose if it's over here, it's more of a liability. Alright. Looks like Koht is preparing for a Ling Flood of sorts. Height walling. Gonna play 2 base Roach. APM tax from RyoGin. Fucking hell. Gets a drone. But that looks finally gonna go. This wall isn't even tight. Uh-oh. Gotta pull that queen. Switch their spots. Nice. So, Kott's bracing for impact here. RyoGin putting the Roachborn where I suggested in Zerg Slander. Yeah, he's also getting a wall. See? RyoGin gets it. He knows that the wall is very valuable. Even with a main nest. Suck on that, Avery. Now, Koht has decided it's time for some Ling pressure. Ling Roach pressure. Alright, Kott's just gonna send it. RyoGin's got a couple of Lings. Gonna check the rally, see if they can get some backstab in. In fact, they will be able to. Run in with a couple Lings, see what's what. Now, RyoGin seems more than prepared for this. He's already got Roaches of his own out. He's producing even more. He's got a spine. He's got a very tight wall. No Ravagers from either side. Spine Crawler is going to just die for free. These Banes aren't really going to be all that useful because it's mostly Roaches from RyoGin anyway. But he's abusing the... See, this is what I was saying. Like, RyoGin gets it. RyoGin knows that the wall is very valuable, even against roaches. And it's making this fight so awkward. It's giving him such a strong defender's advantage. RyoGin gets it. Now, the Roach Warren being forward will also mean that it might die here, which would be hella awkward. And honestly, if I was RyoGin, I would consider making a new Roach Warren in the back anyway, for when it dies, because if you can't make roaches anymore, this is going to get awkward real fast. You don't really want to make lings against this, but I mean, even before the Roach Warren died, RyoGin just made enough roaches that he's defending this pretty hard. Oh, he's really overextending now. Yeah, now Koht's got a big concave of roaches. He's killed the third base. Lings streaming forward, but Lings aren't going to be all that helpful here against this already bulky mass of roaches. I think Koht might just be able to push through. More Lings streaming through. RyoGin has not even started his next backup Roach Warren. There it is. Gonna just keep making Lings here. Alright, Koht, so you've killed the third. Is that enough, or do you need to keep pushing? RyoGin's gonna go for a bit of a backstab. I can't have a third base, neither can you. Uh-oh.
Game paused.
Please excuse this interruption. We are having some technical difficulties. Please have some complimentary peanuts while we try to solve this issue. Quad watchers, skip forward. That's my service worker voice. Kills, not cancels. That's a yikes. Alright, Kott's gonna pull back. He's gonna take his... leave a couple of Lings to block the third. Should RyoGin just try to take it without checking first? Classic Zerg tactic. They do this against me all the time. Just leave like 2 Lings on the third location. Force you to put a Zealot there or something. He's gonna lose a drone for it. Delays the third by a good, what, 30 seconds maybe? And Kott's gonna retake his own. Alright, we're gonna get what you came here for. We're gonna get Roach versus Roach, baby. +1 attack from both sides. Roach speed from both sides, I think. And we're starting to get Ravager production. However, Koht is going to subvert this right from the start. He is gonna make roaches, but he isn't gonna make that many Ravagers. He's gonna put his gas into a Spire. Now, what will RyoGin's response to this be? If I were to guess, he's gonna go for a Nidus. Go for like a Roach Queen Nidus. The other option is Hydras. Or your own Spire, I guess. Queens or Hydras, what's it gonna be? Either way, he's gonna need some Spores. No Spores so far. Both players droning decently hard while still having a pretty strong army. Kott's just pretty far ahead in supply. Alright, Hydras it is. I don't know if he saw... Did he see the Spire, or is this just he was going to make Hydras anyway? He was going to make Hydras anyway. Probably for Lurkers. Alright, Spire's done. How many mutas? We've got very little gas bank, honestly. We're going to have, what, 3 mutas? But we're super supply blocked. Got some Laser Lord moment. Gonna build some spines. Usually when the mutas fly in, that prompts a pretty quick counterattack. Please just getting embracing for that preemptively is nice. Alright, we're gonna pool up mutas for a bit. Don't want to just send the 1 or 2 the other side. 1 is done, 4 more on the way. We're gonna go up to 5. I wonder how many mutas we commit to total. Oh shit, did he see? I don't think he's seen the mutas yet. I think if he did, we'd see like 5 spores. Where are the mutas? Just pulling them up a bit. Gonna get spotted by an overlord pretty fast, and okay. Thought's just gonna be content with sniping a couple of overlords, because now the spores are going down. No exposed mineral lines, 7 hydras on the way. Now this might just be like a small hand. He might be trying to like show this off on purpose. He's like, oh, look at me, I'm making I'm making mutas. You should make hydras. Hydras are good, right, RyoGin? And then he's gonna max out on roaches. And I tell you, hydras are a scam in this matchup. They are a poor man's roach despite being more expensive. It's an Apple product. It's more expensive and it's worse. Roach is Android, hydras are iPhone. If you know, you know. And RyoGin is making hydras. But he's also making lurkers. Lurkers can be quite good. Depends on the player, though. And honestly, of all the players, RyoGin is one I do trust to use lurkers effectively. However, actually, he's not even going to keep any of the hydra. Wait. Oh, I was looking at the wrong. How many hydras does he have? 10. 10 hydras. He's making 5 more. The more hydras RyoGin makes, the worse it gets. Because Koht is maxed on roaches, and I think he's about to get slammed. RyoGin is getting nice Ling counterattack. Which is going to drag the roach army home, but yeah, Koht, you gotta go with this now before the lurker count gets too high. Currently, there's only the 3 lurkers? 5 lurkers. Okay. Okay. I mean, there's still Ravagers. Like, there's a good amount of Ravagers. The Ravagers will kind of poop all over the lurkers. Unless he keeps them secret. Is there an Overseer? No Overseer. Yes, there is an Overseer. Never mind. Don't listen to me. I'm just the guy who's yapping. Alright. I'm just bile down lurker. Oh, bam. There goes one. Koht getting ready to get a big concave here and gonna die for it. Gonna attack up the ramp into lurkers. But unfortunately, RyoGin made a bunch of hydras, which fucking suck, and he's gonna get fucking wiped. Get jebaited, only made 5 mutas. Get fucked. You should have been ace match on game 5. What a shame. Spicy game so far. Alright, RyoGin. You got baited into making... I know Hydra's like the iconic Zerg unit, but it's not what you want. Alright. So game 1, we saw very early aggression from Koht. We saw an early pool into like a Roach with Burrow Rush that did nothing. In game 2, we saw mutas to bait out Hydras into a maxed out Roach push. Game 3, what are we gonna see? RyoGin seems to be more a fan of playing the Ling Bane versus Ling Bane. That's what he wanted to do originally, but Koht was going for the full wall thing. So I'm sort of... If there's any Zerg players who want to DM me later and tell me about why you would build the hatchery here instead of here, I would be very curious to hear the argument for that. I think the argument is that you want the extra production, you want the extra supply, but you don't want it to be vulnerable. And it means you can skip an Evo for your wall, which I guess makes it worth it. I suppose hatches aren't that expensive anymore. It's $275. It's rather cheap. And what? Evo chamber is 75? Is that right? Or are they 100? I'm actually not entirely sure. Maybe it's more cost effective to use a hatchery for a wall. It'll be tankier. Maybe reflect Link Floods better. But I also see this against Protoss, so it can't just be a Link thing. I don't know. It's always seemed like a weird decision. Both of these guys just doing their macro ZVZ opener, doing the standard, doing the if you're attacking me, I can defend it, whatever. But neither of them are attacking, so who gives a shit? Double queen, because Kott's pool finished just a bit faster. Double queen. RyoGin going for 4 links, Koht only going for 2. So defender's advantage being what it is, Koht should be slightly ahead then. Both players going for ling speed, neither wanting to play 2-base Roach, where you skip it. From what I've seen, 2-base Roach looks quite good. You can skip the silly ling versus ling portion of ZVZ. Alright, Kott's gonna just take the third in the normal spot this time. I wonder what the difference is. Alright, a couple lings gonna push their way across the map, but with the queens out to help defend this, should not be an issue. Both players getting Baneling nests. Now, I was told the analogy of the Baneling nest at the front of the wall, it's sort of like how there are some frogs who are like bright green or bright orange, like purple, as a way to say like, I'm toxic, don't leave me. And so the Baneling nest at the front of the wall tells the other Zerg player, if you try to do a ling run by, I will have 2 Banes on my ramp, and they're gonna blow up for free, and I'm gonna get a great trade. And that, so it acts sort of as bait. It's like, if you ling run by me, it's gonna go badly for you. That's what the Baneling nest at the front says. Now, I was also told that putting the Roach Warren at the front is not what to do, because you want to hide it, potentially, or you don't need it at the front, because the Baneling nest can just intimidate them into submission anyway. That's what RyoGin's doing, at least. He's putting his Roach Warren at the back. Koht is doing what I suggested. It's using it to be part of the wall. So, is what it is. Going for a little bit of the knife fight here, just getting a couple nicks at each other, though. Nothing substantial. Now, RyoGin has decided playing defensive in ZVZ is cringe. I'm going to build a bunch of roaches. Fuck it, we ball. Fuck it, we ball. Fuck it, we ball. Koht has made a bunch of lings. 12 lings. He's also making many drones. Any vision? Does he spot the roaches? I'm not sure if he did. Oh, gonna see him now though. Alright, alarm bells should be ringing. Do we make spines? Put the pedal to the metal on roaches. He is gonna tighten up this wall so lings can't just flood on in. Do we abandon the third? With the ling pressure that RyoGin put in, it's already at about half health, so this is looking very vulnerable. Alright, roaches on the way. Oh, queen's out of the wall. Gonna try and fight with just a ling queen, but oh, the lings slip on in! It's gonna start to go to town on the workers. Roach is gonna dive the queens and just burst them down quickly. And this looks really, really good for RyoGin. He's gonna kill this base minimum. Koht still waiting for his own roaches to come online. They're starting to pop, but they're all separated right now. RyoGin is reinforcing this with mostly lings, so the reinforcements will be getting here quickly. However, when the roach tide starts to turn, the lings are going to be less and less effective. Unfortunately, it looks like that Koht isn't able to build up that critical mass of roaches to challenge RyoGin's massive roaches. And so RyoGin might just snowball away with this. Ling's gonna flood in, try to catch the roaches separated. See, roaches are like apes. Together, they are strong. But separated, they are weak. RyoGin knows this, so he's keeping his opponent's apes separated. And with that, they are weak. Separated, now Koht is still way ahead in workers, even if he does have to be reduced to 2 base roaches. That might be fine. Now, RyoGin is going to back off a little bit. Ooh! That's not what... You stand on the other side. Oh, leaving himself vulnerable to get surrounded by lings. Ah! Use the wall. Minimize surface area. He keeps coming outside. He's like... He had a shield, but then he kept like sticking his dick out through a hole in the shield as like bait. But then his dick got caught. and then a roach bit it off. Now he lost 11 workers. And his third base is already dead. This third is vulnerable. Oh, it's on location. So, and yeah, RyoGin has been droning up behind this. Looking pretty dire for Koht here in game number 3. So what do? We go for a little bit of a Hail Mary, we go for the Spire, and we hope that RyoGin has not built spores. Now, RyoGin should recognize that he's in a pretty substantial lead, and so he needs to be asking himself, how can I still lose this game? One answer to that question is if the other guy just decides to make roaches and I over-drone, maybe I can get overwhelmed with roaches. But I think RyoGin is going to be keeping an eye on what Koht's army looks like and where it is. So we should have enough time to prepare his defenses should like a roach attack, counter-attack come in. And RyoGin isn't even going to leave this up to chance. He's going to send in the Overseer to scout it out, and he's going to see the Spire. So we should have plenty of time to get spores necessary. Yeah, he's going to go Hydra then. Now, I did shit on Hydra then pretty hard last game. Rightfully so. I hope he doesn't overcommit to Hydras, because if there is a way to lose this, overcommitting to Hydras is also one of the ways. I think RyoGin doesn't need to make this like a lurker game. He just needs to make enough Hydras to not lose to Mutas, build enough spores so that they can't do counter damage and like queens and stuff, and then just go across the map with Roach Hydra. I don't think it needs to be more complicated than that. Now, unfortunately, while RyoGin was going for that attack, he did rally a bunch of his overlords to the other side of the map. So the Mutas will have the pick of the litter here to supply block RyoGin to hell. There's another one. Yeah, he's got 6 overlords on the way to compensate for this. Gonna make even more. Alright, how many Hydras are we making? I'm not gonna say the only reason RyoGin lost game number 2 was because he made Hydras. Too many Hydras. But I'm certain it contributed. Okay, so there are 4 Mutas. 8 Hydras so far, going up to 10 it looks like. Do we keep making Hydras, or are we gonna start making roaches again? Lurkers, he's gonna keep making Hydras. So the worker count has about evened up tech-wise. RyoGin is ahead, because on the ZVZ tech tree, lurkers do get priority. Or they get advantage, I guess, would be a better way to phrase that. And Koht has taken... He's using the 4 Muta hit squad very well. He's bought a lot of space for himself. He's killed a shit ton of overlords. He's forced RyoGin into a very defensive posture. And he's used that space to drone up and take a faster 4th. Probably won't get any drones. Might get 1. But he's used the space that the threat of the Mutas implies to macro back up after that pretty bad fight. The losses he took in the mid-ish game. And now we're going to see a late game ZVZ. Both players are going to make lurkers. Oh. Could have maybe caught the dangling Hydra. Transfuse on the Hydra and he kills one of the Mutas. Pretty expensive loss. Now, Koht did make the Hydra den, and he's going to start Hydra upgrades, but he is not going to make the Lurker den. So he might just go for like a Roach Maxo attack again, which I would like to see. Yep, there he goes. He's up in supply. And RyoGin has made some amount of Hydras. There's more units for RyoGin, but he has Hydras as part of his comp. And he has some lurkers. There's no Overseer, so he's gonna have to rely on Biles to take down the lurkers. But that's kind of fine. RyoGin doesn't have any Ravagers. So there are Overseers, never mind. I believe in the Roach Ravager Ball more than I believe in the Roach Hydras. Personally. I think Koht does too. We're gonna bounce around the two locations. Just try to kill one lurker and then go to the other side. Biles raining down, gonna snipe the lurkers before they can do anything. And RyoGin invested so much money into these lurkers and they're not even part of the fight. They just get biled from a distance. Gets a creep tumor by accident, Lamau. Are the lurkers really better than getting your own Ravagers? Like, the Ravagers are putting in a lot of work here, it looks like. I mean, Koht is all of a sudden getting lower in supply. But because the lurkers don't move, whenever the army that does move attacks into each other, it's just going to be smaller because the lurkers aren't coming. Oh, self-bile! Ouch! That was really bad from Koht. Just biled himself. The free advantage that the biles gave him, he just sort of threw away. And honestly, I think that makes his army weaken. He's just weakened his own army to the point that RyoGin feels comfortable diving on him, and he's going to get wiped. So, pretty big anti-micro there, and RyoGin's going to run away with it. And that will be game. Hey, Avery, look, he put his Roach Warren at the front, but also had a Baneling Nest. And yeah, now that the lurkers are on the front door, they do beat the roaches when it comes to the fight.
His voice chat and flame him?
I'll do it again.
And that's going to be it. The Hydra lurker transition. God, that's so loud. And then just leaves. Lurker transition works out this time. And RyoGin will take the series 2-1.